Well, hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and the story I'm about to tell you is a little scary. Hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and I just want to tell you it's certainly been my month for a lot of stress. I just want to let you know that I was visiting my old home, the one that caught fire, and that's why I'm living in borrowed accommodation. I went home to visit my place, and for some reason, I did something wrong. And what I did wrong, apparently, as far as I can work out, is I didn't put my car into park strongly enough. Now, this sounds like it's not a major issue, but believe you me, it was. My car was perfectly fine where it was seated until I went to get back into it. And as I went to get back in, I literally had the door open and half my body was around the car door, ready to step into the car when my car started to roll backwards. And I'm on a slope. And so as it started to roll backwards, it obviously was gaining some speed. And in gaining speed, of course, it trapped me onto the seat, and I'm trying to reach for brakes and stuff, and I just didn't have the leverage to be able to do that. As you can probably tell by my body language, it was more than a little scary. And the only thing I could think of was keep your feet away from the wheels. And that was the one thing, because as you can imagine, as it's going backwards, I'm now being dragged by the car. And I just was really aware of keeping my feet as far as I could, away from the wheel area, which wasn't easy. And I did suffer some scrapes because of that. Luckily, not too badly. And I must tell you all that. It was remarkably kind of whoever was looking after me. And I thank the angels up above because, number one, I didn't do anything terrible to my back in flinging myself onto the car seat the way that I did. And the only owie that I got was on the, if you imagine this is my foot, it was just this part of my foot I scraped along the tarmac. And then even more so, I mean, really, I've got to have horseshoes somewhere because what happened was I managed to get it slow enough that it's actually stopped about 6 feet away from my neighbor's car behind me. In other words, I came down my driveway, across the little roadway between us, and then into my neighbor's driveway. And I just stopped. I'm not joking, about 6 feet away from his car. How I did that, I have no idea. And as I said, I've got to have horseshoes somewhere because that was just unbelievable. I was shaking for the longest time. I don't mind telling you. I managed to get my car started again, because this is all at the time when I was trying to charge the battery. I managed to get my car started again on the first go, which was wonderful, and get it back where it was meant to be and put it into park very solidly. And then I allowed myself to feel the shock, only at that time. But I want to tell you something. I was shaking pretty well. Not that I wasn't so grateful. I was so grateful for not having been damaged in a lot worse way than I was. And I realized in order to, how we talk about, in order to get out of that emotional cycle, you need to get off the hamster wheel and just deal with the facts. And the facts were, I made a mistake. Get over it, move on. Don't do that again. Be very careful how you put your car into park. Now, I know that I don't use my emergency brake. I've got to say that. And quite honestly, when I went in there, I went to go and I just didn't have the strength to be able to lift it from that angle. And I think if I tried, I would have changed the angle of me and therefore my feet. And I probably would have run over my feet in some way. So it was all very interesting. But, I learned a lot of lessons from this. But also, I just literally went, I made a mistake. I am so grateful, number one, that I didn't hit my neighbor's car. Number two, that I didn't do myself more damage. Number three, that I was able to restart my car and get it off my neighbor's driveway and back where it was meant to be. And then I had great thanks for the fact that I was, next to my neighbors, and they sort of looked after me yet again. And, it was all such an incredible experience, really, on so many levels. And then, it's amazing. You remember the night of the fire, that the one neighbor that came to help me with a blanket was that same neighbor. And so I was really, really glad that I hadn't done any damage to his car, because I think I would have been pretty upset. Now, funny enough, they came to visit me the next day, the neighbor that lent me the blankie, and he came with his girlfriend, and they came to see how I was, because I was visiting the house trying to do some tidying up stuff. And I told them I was fine. And they said, you really, you've been through so much with the fire and the car. And I went, yep, somebody up there trusts me with a whole lot of stress. And they asked if there was anything they could do to help me. And I said, sure. Yeah, I would really appreciate some help, getting the place tidied up, ready for this inspection. And by the way, it looks like his girlfriend is going to buy the shed. So that is awesome to hear. I'm very, very happy about that. So one thing led to another. I am definitely getting to know that particular neighbor and his girlfriend very well now. And they've offered to come and help me, which is awesome. And one step at a time. I also got really smart. I spoke to the insurance people. I did it by email. But I explained to them that this whole problem with the shed has happened because of the fire. And I said, I need to get the stuff out of the shed, and the only place I have to put it is in the house. So I'm sorry if it's inconvenient, but that's where the stuff is going. I decided I was not going to stress out about it. I've got a house, I'm going to put it in the house. If they don't like it, they can move it, and they can move it wherever they want to. I will keep the stuff that I think I might need over the winter, things like salt and my snowblower, but other than that, I am keeping stuff, well away. And they can take the rest of it. All the summer stuff, they can put it into storage until they bring the rest of it back. Why? I won't be needing it. I'm pretty sure I won't be needing it for quite a few months now. So again, if I just dealt with the facts, I could be very grateful I was alive. If I just dealt with the facts, I was very grateful for getting to get the help from the neighbors who were this. Who would have thought they were the ones that wanted the shed? So life has a funny way of unfolding just the way it's meant to. This is DearMamaSal saying, one step at a time, one day at a time. I am dealing with this level of stress as best I can. And some days it's easier than others. But most of the time, I end up laughing at myself and going, wow.